Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Great to have you here again at Sustainability Now podcast. Today we're going to be looking at a very interesting aspect or very important aspect of the economy. I think it's the oldest
Economic
yeah,
activity.
economic activity globally, talking about agriculture. And agriculture have been a major part of our lives. In one way or the other, we have to practice agriculture. That's because food is dependent on agriculture. So food security is very important. I think for me, I get concerned about food security a lot. That what would happen of all the fears, what would happen when there is scarcity of food, like no food supply? It's going to be really, really tough, catastrophic, and devastating. So we can't even joke with the
Supply.
agricultural sector because the agricultural sector supplies food, which is nutrition for our body, and in turn
Economic
health.
value too.
Right, and yes, the economic value. Yeah, economic value. But I was just trying to cite out how
The
important
basic.
the basic things before we even consider the economic value of agriculture. So it's important in order to prevent food insecurity, we prioritize sustainable practices, or rather sustainable agricultural practices that we can imbibe as individuals, smallholder farmers, and even large corporations who engage in agriculture. So some of these practices are what we're going to be breaking down and discussing about, looking at, again, the different aspects, the environmental sustainability, finance, economic, and others. Um, like I said, agriculture is very important. Let's start from say individual level or family level down to farmers. The challenge now, looking at the challenges now in agriculture, are becoming like a whole lot. Yields are dropping, climate change
Is
is
affecting.
having its effects, natural disasters like flooding having its effects, insecurity, it's having its effects. In looking at the Nigerian situation, we've seen farmers who can no longer
Good
go to
farm.
the farms because of the high level of insecurity.
Insecurity.
So that's also a factor. We're seeing soil degradation becoming a factor now as well. So a whole lot of problems are outlined in the agricultural sector. How do you think we can start looking into these problems, and what sustainable practices should we start thinking or practicing?
Um, agriculture and sustainability, they have gone way back to our forefathers, and they did so well. But I think along the line, technology came, and it took advantage, because I know that before now, the practices that were imbibed were mixed farming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I want to dwell majorly on mixed farming for agriculture as a sustainable means
Mm-hmm.
and something that encourages sustainability. What is mixed farming? Mixed farming is a type of farming that encourages farmer to farm crops and then have animals. And what that does is it creates an interdependency. The animals depend on the yield generated from the crops farming, and then the crops also depend on the waste of the animals to nourish them. Urine, urea, all of those things. All of these things, they are needed in certain quantities, right? And then they will, even the blood from the animal, it will nourish the plant, it will nourish the soil. And then also what's this one, bush fallowing, where you leave certain areas for a period of time to rejuvenate. In that, you keep pouring manure there from grass, leaf, wood, carbon, blood, bone, flesh. You just keep tilting and tilting until it becomes humus and rich and dark again, suitable for planting. And then you now move, you shift. But no, we want to maximize the land we have. We want to use everything at the point. We want to use fertilizer immediately, not considering the side effects, because some of these things are from chemical. Initially, some of them started as byproducts from plants and animals, but because of volume, because of greed, because of sales, they tilted into using synthetic materials to produce. And those synthetic materials now have effects on the soil integrity and also on the nutritional value of those plants. That's why you eat certain things now and it just feels like you didn't eat it. The taste, the integrity of those produce have changed from what it used to be now. And it's accumulation of all of these different things, that practices that people have engaged, products that people have introduced, technologies that have been introduced, and
nice.
So it's a whole lot.
Yeah, it is. I absolutely agree with you, because growing up, I know farming with my dad. We didn't practice much of the livestock, but crop was there. Cassava, yam, arable crops like maize. Yeah, used to be there. I think majorly this street was heavily on cassava and yam. So there's a massive land. We had a massive land, and for every farming year, there's a portion. He cuts a portion himself and every other member of the family, because it's a massive family land. There's a portion for everyone to farm.
To cultivate.
And once that farming season is over, they leave that portion, move to another portion.
He allows it to catch his breath.
You allow it to follow again, move to another portion. So sometimes before they come back to another portion, they must have done like 5 farming seasons, because there's enough land space to go around. So they've done 5 farming seasons and back again, just like a rotation.
There's no how you will not get maximum yield from those things.
So there was yield, and we were seeing it. I didn't get, growing up, we didn't get to buy things like yam or get gari and the cassava and all of that. So it was readily available, and I saw those practices. And some of the practices like mulching, where they try to use dried leaves or stems, to cover up the crops to reduce transpiration or evaporation from the soil. So soil mulching, to
retain the soil moisture.
So that was another practice that.
And even what that mulching does is it disintegrates again, and then it becomes enriches the soil
as well. I also saw, even if we didn't do livestock, I saw the practice of him. We had a small poultry, so he would usually gather the waste from the poultry, take it to the farm for manure and the likes of that. It was until the first time my dad used herbicides and those stuff I introduced at the time, because he would take us to the farm and we would weed the farm.
A sharp boy now, you didn't want to go spend your time at the farm.
Why should we spend all this time, our energy,
better
weeding and stuff. I know better now. We need to get knapsack sprayer.
But do you even know that
and
there are
stuff.
healthier alternatives? There are plants
Yeah.
that serve as herbicides.
Herbicides
There are some
now.
plants
Yeah.
that neem.
Yes, the
Neem-
neem. I'm seeing the research
Neem,
now.
yeah, neem. The
Utilizing
when you
neem.
soak it, you can spray it as herbicide.
Yes.
I think when you mix it with some other things,
Yeah.
it serves as herbicide.
Herbicides.
Even
and pesticide as well.
lemongrass.
Yes.
Lemongrass serves as
Yeah.
insecticides,
Mm.
right? So these things are there in nature, and
Yeah.
they know them, but we will not
Research
let them.
is uncovering more of this now. You get, at the time it was just the level of knowledge I had. I was still in secondary school, and for me the reason for that was just
It was time wasting.
it was I was just lazy. I'm like, Dad, we can't be doing this.
Life
And
is easier.
I think, yeah, life is easier. Let's just spray and all of that. But I don't know how long my dad utilized that, because it was my late moments of secondary school before I left for the university. But I know I enforced
So
that.
now let me tell
we
you the
use
side effect of
that. Yeah.
insecticide.
Mm.
So when insecticide are sprayed on plants,
Yeah.
you know that they infuse
Yes.
with the chemical and the plant. Even if it's dead,
Mm.
there will still be remnants of that integrity that will disintegrate into the soil,
Yeah.
and it will alter the genetic
Definitely.
makeup of that soil.
Definitely.
And it will invariably affect the yield and the plant.
Yeah, even the microorganisms in the soil,
They will die.
they die off. Which
And those
is
microorganisms,
supposed
they
to-
have their place. They help to
Exactly.
aerate the soil. So when rain falls, it easily allows for water to get to the root.
Yeah.
So when we think, Shay thinks say you dey white.
That
That's
was-
what's coming to
that
my
was-
head now.
That was at the time, right? So knowing better now, and just like you said, convenience again is the enemy. And at the time, it was just I needed convenience, and tried to do that. But then again, we need to try to apply those sustainable practice in order to increase yield. And one thing that is being attacked majorly is the soil, the health of the soil. And if the health of the soil
You cannot
is
have
poor,
maximum yield.
then we can't have
Even
good
the
yields,
health,
yeah.
the tastiness, the nutrition of those
Exactly.
products.
Yeah. So it's going to have
If we have a store where we have the nutritional value of corn from 100 years ago and
Yeah.
corn from now, I'm sure they will be miles apart.
Yeah, we want another aspect. What's contributing to this in agriculture is speed. A crop is supposed to take 6 months. We're now trying to redesign it to take 2 months, 3 months, because we want to meet the demands. We want to meet the needs.
Is that actually the
Right.
demand? Some of those things go to waste.
Waste.
Some of those things you'll
So-
see studies now that say, if potatoes do not fit a certain shape, some certain production
Exactly.
factory will not buy.
not accept it.
There are some fruits, if they don't come in a certain mold,
Mm.
people who says who?
Mm-hmm.
Since when did we predetermine the shape and form of agricultural produce? It does not affect the content. The nutritional values are still the same. So why would a strong or round potato determine whether potato is potato, period.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not label, let's not do aesthetics with agri. It's true. Now let's not form aesthetics where aesthetic has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't fit the shelf. How?
Yeah.
And then you see that half of a farmer's harvest is
It's gone.
condemned
Exactly.
because it does not fit a certain way of life or a certain picture. It's not picture that we want to eat. It's not picture that we want to eat. It's food.
Mm-hmm.
And we should realize it and accept it.
I get it, especially for big companies who buy those products
In bulk.
and for exports. I
And you know
I
that-
about yam.
Those people,
They-
those
they're
big
very
crops,
selective.
they are the ones that determine what the market flow and structure will
Exactly.
be.
Yeah.
Because they have the higher share, they have the buying power, they have the bargain. Once you have the
Exactly.
buying power, you have the bargaining power. And once you have the bargaining power, you have the ability
The-
to shape and fields.
That's another aspect. They seriously control the market, and that's the reason you have. It still surprises me till date that farmers are poor. For me, I think farmers should be the
The
richest
richest
people
people. Do you
on
know what
earth.
one seed can multiply into?
Yeah,
Once you have
but
one seed
then,
of corn
yeah,
and you are patient, I kid you not, in a matter of time,
yeah.
you have more than enough that you need.
Mm-hmm.
You have one viable seed.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many seeds that you can harvest?
Yeah. So
Let's not
it's
even go
yeah,
there.
it's a thought.
I saw that magic. I call it magic. I saw that magic growing up.
Mm.
My father will plant one seed of vegetable,
Mm-hmm.
and then when you get the leaf, you
Yeah.
get the seed.
Yeah.
Except certain types of plants,
Mm-hmm.
there are some certain type of plant that one seed can give you over 100 seedlings
Yeah.
that you can propagate,
Going
you get
forward.
more.
Yeah.
All those vegetable shrubs that they have and they don't have tap roots,
Yeah.
that they can easily, they produce a lot of, see tomato.
Mm.
Like I feel overwhelmed talking about it already, but let's not even go there.
Yeah, so because for me, I just think farmers can actually, it goes down to knowledge again, which I believe that why farmers are getting the knowledge about preserving soil health and imbibing sustainable practices in agriculture, they should know the value they occupy within the society, right? Because we have to find a balance of the
See, sorry to cut it there. That balance will not come if they don't invest in proper storage. Because the only reason a farmer will want to dispose of his produce is because he does not have storage and he doesn't want it to be bad. And the reason those big crops will have a higher bargaining power is because they invested in storage and storage facilities. So they buy it and they store, or they found a way to transform that product from what it is to what is marketable. Something of value, and that value has longer shelf life than the raw and perishable state.
With this now, what would be the best way to empower, say, local farmers?
Storage. At least the most basic storage that can buy him 1 to 2 years worth of time, or 2 seasons, so that if he did not sell this season, he can sell next season. Or empower farming to production. Once you farm, you already have a product, or there is government partnership that government is buying at reasonable price, so that once you're buying, you're turning it into a product and then you sell, and the cycle continues. But they shouldn't be shortchanged.
Exactly.
Or they should have like a community. If individuals cannot have a storage system, there should be like community storage system where you buy a space, within it you store your goods, and then if their bargaining price doesn't fit your current selling point, you move on, you keep it. But most of our farmers are peasant farmers. They need money.
They need money immediately.
So they don't even have that privilege or the opportunity to hold on because once you hold on to your product, there will come a time where in a year there is a high point selling point and there's a low selling point. So most of them need cash immediately. Let's live long term. Let's live within a selling cycle, within a selling period. There is the farm harvesting period and there's a scarcity period in Nigeria. Some of them, they don't have the opportunity to even hold it for just few months because they want money quick. And that way they'll do anything to dispose and get their monetary value and move on. But you and I both know that it's time that gives value to produce and to some certain things. At the time when you are producing it in season, it does not have so much value because it's readily available. See, mango is here now. Once mango season is over, you will see people selling, if they still have one mango for 10,000, people will buy it because it's not in season. It has appreciated. Scarcity sometimes can be a blessing in disguise. And if you're able to hold your farm produce until when there is scarcity, you'll be able to maximize the profit. But unfortunately, most of our farmers do not have that opportunity to do that.
I absolutely agree with that, right? Um, but then why? Let's go back to some of the, would I say, what are the local preservation methods, right, that farmers use? I know in there is these silos. There's a local silos for preserving maize. I know the baggy culture utilizes it. If I find the image, I can show that image, and the maize lasts really longer. Should that be a thing, or we should rely on modern technologies?
It's an hybrid.
Hmm.
And see, Earth has a lot of value that we've not
Mm-hmm.
tapped into. I've seen lots of videos where they store apple underground.
Mm.
Most of the apples we are buying now, they were not apples that were harvested this season. They're
Mm.
apples that had been harvested. You'll be shocked 2-3 years before. If I knew we were going to talk about it, I probably would have like sent you the video so that we can share it with the community,
I would love to
and
see.
they will see it.
Yeah.
Those people, they build trenches, they
Mm.
dig trenches into the ground. So the earth is a great insulator. The heat from the sun doesn't penetrate so much
Mm.
into the soil. It gets to a certain level that it's cold, it's chilled. So in those places, most of these products, they do well in dark rooms. Do you get? And then it increases the shelf life. Heat speeds up reaction. You and I both know that. And then it speeds up ripening and all of that. But cold somehow slows it down. So when I've seen they store potato, name it, they dig, and they're Asians.
Wow,
Me and this
I would love
Asian.
to see this.
I'm serious. I'll look
Yeah.
for the video and then I'll share it. They store them in the earth. These are not even big cups, so like normal local farmers that have over the years developed ways to store their product. This I've seen they even cabbage, as perishable as cabbages, they store it over the winter.
Mm.
They store it over the summer, and they keep them after digging the grounds. They layer it with clay, this same clay, and then they store them there. That way, it gives them more time.
Exactly.
They're able to sell when things. So those are the knowledge transfers that we should be having.
Exactly.
Things that are obtainable and working in those countries, they can be done here. If you cannot build, you can.
Yeah.
If you cannot build, you can dig.
Because I know the challenge with storage facility in Nigerian context, right? I've seen storage facilities, researchers having to produce that is expensive, and local farmers can't even purchase it. So the only model that seems viable for local farmers is having communal big facility for the community, and they have to subscription based model. But even building for the the large size, it's very expensive, which most communities might still not be able to afford. So why not explore the local means you're using and try to expand it? Because what I see, the local means of storage do not have capacity to store like large volumes. Can they find a way to utilize those solutions and increase the volume of those storage, pending when new technologies that are sustainable in quotes would get to those locations? So when these farmers are able to get to scale the current process they use and store larger capacities or larger quantities of their farm produce, I believe it's a way to go rather than just sitting back and having to suffer or not make
Wait on the
proper
government.
profit. Yeah, wait on the government or someone. I think they have to start utilizing the local or traditional means of preservation first and seeing how to scale it while looking for possible solutions. Then we have to communicate or go from a place of empowerment. That's empowering them. Empowering people isn't just about providing them with tools and resources, but empowering them with knowledge, letting them know the value they provide and how they can increase the value of the produce that they sell. So all of those knowledge, all of those training are really important for local farmers. I believe local farmers are very important in the value chain. Without them, we wouldn't be having those yields. And sometimes I think it's high risk for any government who do not prioritize local farmers or indigenous farmers. It's high risk because food is important and we should treat it as such. So I believe with all of this, we would like to hear your contribution, especially if you are in the agricultural sector. We would like to know what your thoughts are as regards sustainability and agriculture. What have been your experience engaging with local farmers as well as the big corporations or those who commercial farmers who used machineries and the likes of that? We would really love to hear your views on this. Thank you very much and see you on the next one.
Bye.